first lawsuits against the new administration are rolling in. Just minutes after Trump was sworn in, a number of organizations, including labor unions and government watchdogs, filed suit against his proposed Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. In his inauguration address, Trump offered details about the new office to be headed up by the world's richest man, Elon Musk. Failed Republican politician Vivek Ramaswamy was supposed to co-lead it, but he was pushed out after an unfortunate tweet around Christmas in which he basically called Americans lazy and stupid. DOGE will recommend spending cuts through deregulation and downsizing at federal agencies, and according to Trump, will have an office with 20 people working under Musk. In one lawsuit filed by the group Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, alongside other organizations, it's alleged that DOGE violates the Federal Advisory Committee Act. The law requires that offices like DOGE that will have an advisory role must comply with regulations, including a balanced membership, a clear charter, and open meetings and disclosed records so the public is apprised of its actions. DOGE is not complying with any of that, according to Crew's lawsuit. Quote, DOGE is instead a shadow operation led by unelected billionaires who stand to reap huge financial rewards from this influence and access. DOGE excludes the perspectives of people with the greatest stake in the services and programs it will recommend eliminating. Instead, its advice and recommendations will reflect only the perspectives of industry titans who have made clear their desire to be free from the regulations they propose to slash. The lawsuit goes on to allege that members of DOGE, quote, communicate using the ephemeral messaging application Signal, which is widely used for its auto-delete functionality. DOGE's use of Signal threatens to irreparably deprive plaintiffs and the American public of records to which they're entitled under the Federal Advisory Committee Act. Now, the White House is trying to get around these requirements by claiming that DOGE will not play an advisory role. According to a Trump executive order establishing it, DOGE is actually taking over what was previously called the U.S. Digital Service, an office created under Obama that is considered non-advisory, that is just focused on modernizing government tech. According to the American Prospect, this switch-up is mainly a way to dodge legal challenges. In other news on the docket, Trump was also sued over his executive order suspending the 14th Amendment's Birthright citizenship clause. Attorneys general from 18 states filed suit in federal court in Massachusetts to block the order. They note that birthright citizenship has been upheld by the Supreme Court for more than 100 years and argue in their lawsuit that President Trump, quote, now seeks to abrogate this well-established and long-standing constitutional principle by executive fiat. The suit goes on to note the harms that could fall on millions of citizens if the order is allowed to stand. Quote, under the order, such children born after February 19, 2025, who would have been unquestionably deemed citizens had they been born 2 days ago, will lack any legal status in the eyes of the federal government. They will all be deportable, and many will be stateless. They will lose the ability to access myriad of federal services that are available to their fellow Americans. And despite the Constitution's guarantee of their citizenship, they will lose their rights to participate in the economic and civic life of their own country, to work, vote, serve on juries, and run for certain offices. These lawsuits are pretty much the only resistance to Trump's deportation plans, as elected Democrats in Washington go missing, or even worse, collaborate with Republicans on this. After a dozen Democrats helped pass the Laken-Riley Act in the Senate, 46 Democrats voted for it in the House to send it to Trump's desk for signature. The bill subjects migrants to deportation for merely being accused of certain theft crimes, not convicted. It also will empower state officials to dictate federal immigration policy. Once signed, the bill will dramatically expand immigrant detention. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries did not even bother whipping Democrats to vote against the measure. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib did have the courage to blast her colleagues for supporting the bill. She said in a statement, quote, "It is shameful that the first bill of the new Congress will put a target on the back of millions of our neighbors and increase the militarization of our neighborhoods. This bill is a blatant violation of due process that will lead to the mandatory detention and deportation of people who are merely accused of a crime without even being convicted. It will separate families and lead to increased racial profiling. It will empower Trump even further to unleash mass deportation on our communities. It's a shame that my colleagues are giving in to racist fear-mongering at the first opportunity to pass legislation to scapegoat immigrants and fuel hate in our communities." Well, then again, these are the same colleagues who've been supporting a genocide in Gaza for the last 15 months. So at least they're being consistent in their support for human rights abuses. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. Also, if you want to see Means Morning News in its complete form, not just the clips we post here, head on over to Means TV and get access to all our new episodes and our entire backlog, plus tons of other great movies and original TV shows.